All right. I mean, this is super exciting for me because I read about your retreat that's happening. What's the time exactly for your Peru?
September 30th to
September.
October 12th.
Ah, okay. And we'll include the details. But I'm here with the retreat leaders of this amazing retreat in Peru, Misha and Cris Halderson. And we're going to spend the next few minutes really talking about the retreat, talking about what you can expect, learning about them. But you got to stick to the end because this is the most amazing thing. And really, just if you don't do anything at all, just go back and read about it. It's like it's mesmerizing reading, and which is really what what we want to do here is just inform people about these retreats with Viazara. And so, without further ado, I'm going to ask you just to kind of tell us about your upcoming retreat and what people can expect. Kind of,
Well, definitely a lot of adventure for that
mhm,
matter.
yeah,
Um, the retreats are definitely based around wellness and self-being, but a lot of that through experience.
mhm,
So, we don't, we want people to definitely be themselves, but push their own boundaries and things,
mhm,
And
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 move out of their comfort zone a little bit.
yeah.
And that's
yeah,
why a lot of places that our retreats are kind of around is a more exotic atmosphere for that,
mhm,
you know. Peru, obviously, an incredibly mysterious place to many people. To me,
yeah,
I've personally never been to South America, so I'm very excited about it because of
yeah,
the research I've done on it and just my whole life, honestly. The areas we're going to be seeing, just having a major interest in
mhm,
that matter.
Um,
mhm,
and we hired our private guide, so he'll be with us the whole time. And
right,
he comes with the shamanic background, so he's
nice,
actually a shaman. So,
yeah,
um, so he's gonna sort of intertwine a lot of the practices of that during the entire retreat. So, people
mhm,
get what they want, and so it allows that moment for self-care and meditation as well. Guide that's missing in the list, but so there's four of us actually. So we've got the guide in Peru, and then we have Becky Colson. She's actually in Virginia, but she's also one of the retreat guides. So there's four guides on this trip.
right. Well, before we get into dive into the details, I really want to learn about you guys. Let's let the audience know about you. Tell us about yourselves, because I found it really interesting just talking to you, up until this point about your engineering background, Chris, and your medical healthcare background, right, Misha? So just kind of give us some perspective on yourself.
So I'm actually a physical therapist by profession, and I'm originally from Zambia, so born and raised in Zambia,
Ah,
and so I've been in the States for about 20 years,
uh,
and went to school right here in North Georgia area. So um,
okay.
the two of us
Mhm.
met.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the journey for as far so been a physical therapist 14 years, and I just knew that I needed to do more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to find a way to connect with people at a different level. So a lot of the physical therapy is always taking care of people that are already sort of sick, or somebody's having surgery and then they go to physical therapy. And my practice, I'm trying to change that outlook. I want people to be more proactive and come see me for physical therapy before having injury. So
Mhm,
so I
mhm.
started a private practice 2 years ago. And
Interesting.
it's more for I don't want to use the word maintenance, but it's a maintenance, it's a body maintenance. I
Mhm,
tell people, just like you go take a car
mhm.
to get an oil change, or you
Yeah,
go to a dentist twice a year for
yeah,
a checkup. This is what you're coming here for, so that we can prevent major issues.
yeah. It's so important to invest in ourselves,
Mhm.
uh, and really the health. And Chris, you're telling me a little bit about your engineering background, which is really interesting.
Yeah, so I've worked as a professional for about 24 years in the engineering industry. So now I work as a mechanical engineer in the railroad industry and design
Okay.
projects in the railroad industry.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's interesting about it though is one thing I noticed is it is high stress. A lot of the people I work with in the industry, it's very fast paced and it's very demanding. And in that, of course, we can lose ourselves. And that was noticing one thing with me was getting out of balance because I have a love for nature. I have a love for adventure involved in my long list of hobbies. But as a professional, I'm inundated in this, this cage of reality with engineering, and it doesn't allow much out of those boundaries. And so to me, it's really special getting to travel to new places, and experience yourself again, so to speak. And that's a lot of the emphasis as far as my concern on the wellness, without pushing that on people, is letting them have that natural experience of, hey, I'm finding myself hiking and my mind is totally off of what I do as a professional, and now it's about me, and it's nice to see people capture that moment again, when they realize that they're literally separated from a reality that unfortunately has become unrealistic when it comes in our lives.
It's nice to detach. Last week I was on an 8-mile hike, and in the Palm Springs Araby Trails area, and it's just so nice to get out there, get in nature, and not focus on the business or what you're doing. It just frees your mind, and the whole journey that you're talking about in Peru, from reading that from start to finish, I just feel like, boy, you really just get to a point where you're just like able to really understand your true center, right? And then just getting out of that comfort zone, seeing other cultures, learning. We like to say at Viazara, the reason we call it Viazara, it's pathway to blooming flowers, because when you're learning, you're growing. And so that's really the emphasis here. So it's really let's get more into the kind of what people are going to experience on this from the minute kind of they get there, through kind of the days and the hikes and the meditation. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
Well, I mean, one of the main attractions, of course, is Machu Picchu. And the reason that's very important is because of rumor of them limiting, and they already have limited sections of it that you can visit. But that's definitely a major thing, I think, for people. And because it's
it's a fraction of what we're going to see.
Oh, right.
Like just a
But
fraction.
it's
We're going to get to start in the city, and then from the city we're going up to the Paracas. Sorry, I don't know the itinerary by heart. But if we go up there, it'll be a different landscape, and then we get an opportunity to get on a private plane and see the Nazca lines. That I think, and really cool, we get a certificate after we fly.
Yeah.
Exciting. And then my favorite thing after that, we'll travel up to the canyons, which I'm really excited to see that, and see those condos flying. I remember watching it in one of those, I can't remember her name, but Avatar. I think it was in Avatar, the movie. I remember off the cliff or something, and this bird. And I'm like, oh, I think they had that as a vision, because at least it's my vision of what to expect at the Cold Canyons, but off to get on a bird, but
But I think a lot of the nice thing is it's a lot of private travel as well. It's more smaller vehicles, the same group together kind of thing. So you're the same people the whole time. And everything from obviously the incredible mountainous ranges to the oceans as well, which is going to be nice, being out in the water and getting to see the coast from that view. But it's in the lakes more inshore as well. So it is, and the jungle at the end of it as well.
We have
So it's like a lot within one trip.
Yeah.
It will be
It was
fast
nerve,
paced.
yeah.
you
It was
know, but-
nerve-wracking when,
Yeah.
because a lot of Americans actually, they're like, he kind of gets to be like that too. I'm like, oh, it's 13 days. And he's just like, 13 days, everyone's
Mhm.
always so freaked out because, Americans don't get 13 days off from work versus, in Europe and other countries, they,
Mhm.
that's normal to
Right.
go on holiday for that
Mhm.
long. So, but when we went to Zambia, I remember we went for, what was it,
It's 4 weeks.
28 days,
Yeah.
I think we went for, but the
Mhm.
itself was 13 days. And it was very interesting because he, like, from his personal experience, because that was probably the longest he's been on holiday.
Mhm.
And in the beginning, he was very kind of like on edge, like, oh my God, I should be like
Right.
working,
Yeah.
like,
Right.
till we got in the plane, he was like, I'm gonna lose my job. And
Yeah. No, it was hard to let go. And that's
But
kind of the way
yeah,
this
yeah,
is what's driving this even more,
yeah,
yeah,
is to let people know it's okay to let go.
go, yeah.
yeah.
And
Detach,
yeah,
Yeah.
to detach.
detach. And I love your phrase when you say rewilding your soul. What does that mean to you? What is that? Let's talk about that, because I think that's really when if you get to that point where you're doing that, you've really accomplished something.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you watch a child, like, so I have a nephew, he's 6 now, but I've been watching him as he's growing, and as a physical therapist, I'm always like looking at his movements and movement patterns and things like that. But one of the things that I notice is, he's not scared of anything. Like, he's ready to jump off the
Yeah,
stages or jump off the
yeah.
couch, and we're like freaking out. And I'm thinking, we're like, we were wild like that when we were
Mm,
young. And where did this fear come in? Or when did
mm,
that fear come into us?
right, right.
So it's sort of like kind of just going back to, I guess, original factory setting of what we were born with and rewilding that part of our body.
Wow, that's really that is really profound. That's a great way to think about it. Yeah, I get that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's an interesting perspective as well, because also losing yourself, and you see it happen in relationships. But
Mhm,
relations, as we all know, can be difficult,
mm,
with your significant other or friends for that matter, or workmates.
mhm,
As humans, we put a lot on social interaction,
mhm.
and a lot of it in finding yourself again is just like how land kind of grows back, for instance. You can have
Mhm.
a city reclaimed within 5 years by a forest if it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
maintained. And
yeah.
almost just kind of accepting that maybe there shouldn't be a parking lot here in your life. You're allowed to be yourself again
Mhm.
is kind of what I'm shooting for with that, as well as a perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's really and we put so many layers on, right?
Mhm.
So it's, just kind of removing some of those layers and just really opening up and being free to really think about some things and really get centered. I think that's how I feel, when I do a lot of this traveling.
Mhm.
And it's, I think, in some of the most extreme places we've been, like India, for instance, I feel it the most because it's really so out of your comfort zone.
And
Um,
I went to
yeah,
India 2 years ago, and I would definitely attest to that. It was very much out of my comfort zone. It's very different from living in Africa and then going there or coming here.
yeah. I don't know if I would recommend it for everybody, and I like your notion of having a controlled environment, yet you're still able to wild your soul because it's I've been there a few times and I've traveled all throughout India, and it is quite extraordinary, but it's not for everybody. But that's for another conversation another time. But no, I love what you guys are doing, and it just seems like you really have just figured out every detail, to make this a successful journey for people. From the time that they get on a plane, they show up, you've got everything laid out, you're going to take care of everything. You've got some freedom in there for people to do some things. You've got some healing opportunities. You're going through some amazing cultural experiences, really enabling people to kind of really immerse themselves in the culture of that area. And so it really came through. That's why I say, if you got to just read this. I mean, you did such a beautiful job of capturing how people are going to experience this. And so what else would you like people to know?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is getting ready to go on an adventure, because you're going to be able to leave a lot behind. Even the fact that everything's all inclusive, even up to tips, that way that's just not on your mind. I mean, you're there to experience the real things we're putting in front there.
Mhm.
And that, yeah, I mean, get ready for actual adventure though at the same time.
We even we had a Peru night a few weeks ago where we invite the people that have registered for the retreat already that were in this area. We had them over, and I made Peruvian food. I never made that before.
Nice.
Eat some Peruvian food, thanks to Google
Yeah,
recipe.
right.
And we tried that out, and it was really nice. So we got to meet with a few of the people, and then we've done a few Zoom calls already. Because we have people from Indiana, Florida, Virginia, where else? And here as well, so that have registered for the retreat. So it's a great way for everyone to connect. So the goal is that before we go, we have 2 more Zoom calls planned, and before we go, everyone's already sort of visually seen each other in some way, and spoke to each other. So
yeah. How many spots do you have left to fill?
we actually we have 4 more spots to fill.
Okay, all right, 4 more spots. That's not very much.
Mm-mm.
That's great. That is terrific. Well, it's
And we offered
yeah.
payment plans, so we're helping with that. So
Mhm.
we actually have a giveaway that's ending today. So it's a $700 gift certificate towards the Peru retreat. But if they would like to use it for any other retreat, they're welcome to as well.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. Well, listen, I look forward to sharing this out there. We'll help you fill your last few spots. It's gonna, and then look forward to the next journey. But we'll come back afterwards and hear all about it, and really share all the stories of how people what you experienced, what you expected, what you didn't expect, and these kinds of things. And I would like to. We're also going to, look at doing some lives here too. We want to share this out and just help you do whatever we can to fill those last few coveted spots.
That would be amazing. We do have something special that we do have is we have a photographer that that's going to be on the retreat as well. So she's a professional photographer, so she's going to be taking pictures of everybody and also doing little mini photo shoots for everybody.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about the water, the donation?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting.
Retreats as well is a lot of helping in the local areas.
Yeah.
And a lot of the retreats are very non-touristy in the sense that you're going to see the real areas. And in Africa, we did that, going to multiple schools and helping out and actually delivering product to them. Everything from stationery to, soccer balls and actually intervening with the children in the school, which is a very special thing to do there. And in Peru, we'll be dealing with water projects, helping build, basically containment units, small areas to have fresh water coming from rainfall and such places like that. So, and that's also nice because it builds that camaraderie with your community you're traveling with. And it's always nice to do a project together, especially something that's for a really good cause.
Yeah, it's nice that feeling of giving back, gratitude. It's also, sustainable tourism in a way. You're seeing how they live and helping the local community as much as possible. So I think that we're at an age where there's a lot of people that are interested in that sort of travel. And so I think that's really hitting on a key point. I really appreciate what you're doing there. It's really awesome.
Purpose, I mean, when you're going 9 to 5 job, you're kind of like, what am I doing with my life? And then you do something like that and you're giving back to some it's way, shape, or form. And it's kind of like, oh, this feels
Yeah,
right.
with Viazara, our motto is, when you see the world, you help other people see the world too, because we donate a significant amount of our proceeds to help fund cataract surgery in developing countries. So we actually have helped people see where they had really poor vision because of their cataracts. They could not afford the surgery, which by our standards, not like an astronomical amount of money. But by their standards, it was really a lot. So we've done that, and that's really feels good. And so we do that. We also have our operations in the Philippines. So we're building up a big organization in the Philippines, helping people get employment. So these are kind of the causes that Viazara is involved in.
That's nice.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think that we've gone through a lot. Is there anything else? And we're gonna clip this together. We're gonna clip out certain parts of this, and so is there anything else you want to say while we've got people's attention?
Absolutely. Reserve your spot. Feel free to
Yeah,
call
definitely.
us. Call us, ask us questions. Let us know. We're happy to see if you're the right fit for this trip.
Sounds good. Well, thank you. I'll take us off record here. Hang on a second.